Today I will be discussing Chapter 3, Who won the 2000 election, Bush or Gore? First, we'll start off with some background information. As I mentioned before, this election took place in 2000 between the Republican candidate George W. Bush and Democratic candidate Al Gore. On November 8th, it all came down to the wire. Gore was leading with 255 electoral votes and Bush trailing with 246. Florida with 25 electoral votes was going to decide the winner. At the end of the day, Bush won with 1,784 votes out of 6 million total in Florida. As you guessed it, there was a recount. The recount contained 61,000 undervotes and 113 overvotes. December 12th, the Supreme Court made a 5-4 decision to stop the recount and declare Bush as the winner. The reasoning behind this was that the Florida's electors needed to be certified before the recount could be completed. We were left with a big question. Did Bush really win? And did the Supreme Court make the right decision? This was a very controversial decision, and the justices were divided up in party lines. So another question is, how can analytics be used to help solve this problem? We start off looking at the projection of the undervotes, study done by Michael Finkelstein and Bruce Levin. They estimate the net gain for Gore undervotes by the equation multiplying fraction recovered by undervote multiplied by net margin for Gore as a fraction of already recorded votes. And they find the estimate that Gore lost was 617 votes. Using the central limit theorem, we find a p-value of a really small number. And this shows that there was a really small chance that Bush would be behind. And that Bush, in fact, did actually win. Next, we'll be looking at the butterfly ballot that argumentally changed the outcome of this election. So, the reason they used this ballot was for elderly, so that they could better see with bigger font. And the confusion came where, as you can see, George W. Bush indicated 3, Pat Buchanan number 4, and Al Gore number 5. The confusion came where people mistakenly voted for Pat Buchanan instead of Al Gore, choosing number 4 instead of number 5. We look at a study done by Kosuke and Mai, where he predicted each county for 2000 Buchanan vote from the 1996 third-party vote for Ross Perot. He did this by plotting the Buchanan vote on the y-axis and the Perot vote on the x-axis. So we have our line graph predicting the Buchanan vote by our x-axis Perot vote, and we find that there's a big outlier for Palm Beach. We also find that the R-squared value is equal to 0.513, which shows that 51.3% of the variation is explained by this graph. Next, we look at the same line graph without the Palm Beach outlier. And we see that our new R-squared value is equal to 0.851. This means that 85.1% of a variation is explained. This shows that the Palm Beach data point is significantly different to any other county. This means that people did in fact unintentionally vote for Buchanan instead of Gore during this election. In our conclusion, we find that more people intended to vote for Gore, and this could have changed the outcome of the election. However, Bush would have won and did win this election legally.